before it runs off into the road.
Whew. That wasn't good. That wasn't the plan. Welcome to the fascinating world of traffic signals. Today we're back out here, and I wanted to stop here first and check out these lights, make sure they're straight. It's kind of difficult to do that when it's dark outside, and want to check and just make sure everything looks correct and that this beautiful powder coat on these poles held up just fine. Shh, guys, I see the comments. Shh, don't tell nobody. They're supposed to be powder coated. So, but let's take a look at these guys. You see the green arrows coming on. Everything's still looking really good. So, definitely worked out great. I like the fix we made. We will be back out here, but a little bit later tonight at this intersection. We're gonna go work on doing an FYA upgrade at Division Street and I-110. So that's most of our plans tonight. And then back here to try to finish up the signs at the other side of this Diverging diamond. I did have some questions or comments on here. Let me try to look through my phone real quick, and I want to show y'all some. So, great repair, thanks for the latest post. He said something. Can you imagine the amount of drivers insurance companies will be charged for the destruction of county or state property? It's a lot. You'll probably get charged the labor and the materials to replace one of these cabinets if you knock down one of the cabinets. But if a state project is coming up, you'll typically see that the state will end up almost covering the damages if the person has no insurance, at least. If the person stays, doesn't do a hit and run, they don't have insurance, and you know, they act like a decent human being, and if there is an upcoming project going on, the state will usually cover the cost and help out somebody. Nobody's trying to leave anybody in the bind. It is Mississippi. You'd probably expect that from them, but it isn't something we do. Let's look up some more. Yes, somebody mentioned on there beating these anchor bolts. If you're gonna beat in anchor bolts, remove them, make sure you have a nut threaded on top and hit the nut itself, or put some kind of protectant on the threads, because if you just beat straight on the threads, you will mess up those anchor bolts. I think this is pretty cool. I posted it today a few hours ago, and we can get some responses out of here out of the comments. I think I like that better than typing it out all the time, because it's kind of hard to sit here and read and just try to type out a bunch of comments. Do you always repull, or do you splice your cables whenever you can? Mr. Napoleon 1, I will say it depends on the call. If it's an emergency call and it's get something back up and running, then it is splice. We do whatever we can to get it fixed as soon as possible. Especially depends if it's called for the city or the state. But if we're helping out, we're typically doing anything we can to get it up and running as quick as possible so no accidents happen. But then other than that, we are contractors, so preferably we repull the cable and do it right, because that's how we get paid. Plus, you want to have the best quality of work and the best hold up on any of these signals here. So, you know, repulling cable is preferred. But sometimes, especially if it's good looking cable, we will just splice the cable and get the intersections back up and running, because it can be very dangerous when these intersections are down. Say a person drives into this cabinet, it may flash, or if they knock the power all the way out of this cabinet, all the signal heads in the field will also be down, which is very dangerous. So it's whatever that we can do to get it back up and running as quick as possible. And if the cable is real damaged at that point, then we'll recommend that we need to repull new cable, and they may pay us to come out at a later date to repull the cable, or they'll come do it themselves. Yeah, nice powder coating, exactly. You know, gotta make it look like it's that at least. And that paint, it's galvanized underneath. It's gonna last a decade, so nothing they can complain about. It won't rust or anything else. And yes, yeah, Diverging diamond, the worst part of these, which I do love because they're real efficient. You know, it merges the traffic or shifts the traffic into the oncoming lanes and keeps other guys pretty much doing the same, so you can enter the ramps or come off of these interstate ramps as easy as possible. The issue with that is when signalization goes down, is in flash, or, you know, if power's all the way out, it becomes very dangerous, because you do have people, you know, shifting over from one lane of traffic into what you can call oncoming lanes of traffic, and it can be very difficult to signalize or control the traffic here when people are coming into oncoming traffic to go through. And that's just to go straight. Most intersections, it wouldn't be that way. They can keep going straight through the intersection. Here they have to divert across, and if you don't have signals, it can be very difficult for that. Everybody has to stop on this one. This is not one where you have flashing yellow lights. Anytime the intersection goes down, you will have flashing red all the way around, and you got to treat it like a stop sign, four-way stop, make sure you're clear, then proceed to go through. It is not efficient if the intersection's down, but very efficient if everything's working. Let's see here. Yes, it is nice at nights, but what I do hate is I like to film content for you guys, and while I'm working nights, it's very difficult to do so because it gets real dark. And I try my best to put some light on there, and most of the time I really dislike the way the footage comes out because it being dark. Overall, last night was a success. We got all the signs we had to replace up in the field. We got the 2 signal heads. We got all the cable pulled. We got the cable for the new radio just stacked up on the top of that shaft there. Everything ready to go. When we do get the radios in, I still plan on finishing up that side completely 100% tonight if we get around to it. But again, we got to do that FYA upgrade. So stay tuned. I will show you as much of that process as I can while filming. Again, while it's dark, it kind of makes it difficult to film, but I do love sharing everything I do with y'all, and I hope y'all enjoy. So that's most of the questions there. So shout out to the guys that asked the questions. Make sure to comment down below because I'll go through and read them. I don't want to just cut it short right now, so we'll see how the night goes. And as always, I do appreciate y'all for watching, so come along with me on the work night. We're currently at Division Street, and down here there is a doghouse signal we are going to swap out with a Type 2 flashing yellow arrow. As you can see on the plans, cabinets here going to have to come to this pull box across and over and down the mast arm. It's gonna work out just fine, and it looks like the previous contractor out here, it is a huge mess in here, but it looks like we have some string, and I believe one of the strings going that way, one's going this way, but it's gonna make our job and lives a lot more simple. So let's get onto this and start pulling cable. All right, so I'm sending them back to go get a different reel of 5 conductor, some cable that will reach where it needs to go. We're replacing this signal head here, so it hits a box here, then another box right beside it, then across the road, then jumps back over. And the reel of cable we have is like 430, 440 feet. My measurements is like 450, 460 feet we need, so like 15, 20 feet short, but I've done it enough. I know it ain't gonna reach at this point. I usually like to risk it, but it ain't going to, not here. Not with all the pull boxes too, and that was not according all the slack, the foot or two, the couple feet of slack we'll have on each pull box. So definitely ain't gonna make it, but they'll go get the different reel, and we'll get it all the way up to this Type 7, this doghouse signal head here, and get that swapped out with an FYA and new signage on for the FYA. If you are enjoying this video, make sure to hit the like button and make sure to subscribe. Let's get right back to it.
Come on first.
Watch yourself, scooch over a little bit just so it don't come after.
I'm ready to stop it before it runs off into the road.
Whew. God damn it. Well, that wasn't good. That wasn't the plan. We can definitely roll it up though.
Okay.
That sucks.
What was the real?
Yeah. Still rolls.
Oh, yeah. Put on some jacks.
Heck yeah. It ain't meant to last forever. Well, one of them we just dropped off the bed of the truck, so it's probably a good reason for that one. Nope. It's called half hitches right here. Put some in. As you pull, it just grips tighter on the cable. One of the easiest ways of pulling here, if you just grab onto it and start walking, as long as they keep up with the feeding, it stays fairly simple. But we do have to get cable out and down far enough. That's the cable coming out the pull box there. So let me go back and actually grab the cable. Hey, if that ground cable is coming out or going in pretty easy with it, TW, start running out some more 5 conductor. And definitely always go with their pace. Ain't trying to run with it. If it gets hung up, it's their end, and they'll tell you why it's hung up. All right, we're gonna work on getting cable from this pull box. There's one down there, gotta get it down there, and then another one it jumps into, and then all the slack we gotta get across the road, and then jump back over across this shaft here, and have enough slack out. All in all, it's gonna be about 468 feet of cable, somewhere around there. If my math was correct, but it's gonna be pretty close. And again, if you work with them and not against them, cable pulling can be real easy, as long as you got good feeders and the pipes aren't clogged up. These pipes are pretty full, but okay, so that is good to go. Ooh. Usually if they get hung up, it's the cable that they either need to get more slack out or gets knotted up or just caught on something. But they'll pretty much just stop me anytime they need to. If I'm going too fast, I just slow down. If I monitor what they're doing and I can kind of see where they may be struggling at, that will pick up my speed or slow down my speed. And see he's shaking his head no at me, means they got to get more slack out. So if you fight against them, it aggravates them, it aggravates yourself, because you're double working yourself at that point. You know, work together as a team, and cable pulling goes real easy. Everything else goes real easy. So we're gonna keep working on this. We have enough out to get to the pull box. That's right over here, but we need enough slack to pull out again, get across. Well, there's a small pull box right there in the sidewalk. They need to get across the street and then go into that shaft there. All right, in case y'all are curious, this little string right here, we call it jet line, and it only has like a couple 100-pound tensile strength, while this mule string, we call it here, quadruples that. So that's what we use. Well, usually you run the jet line. If it's super easy pull, we'll just pull with it. If not, we will run a mule string into it with the jet line. It's easier to blow that through a conduit or suck it through a conduit, the mule string, and then pull our cable with the actual mule string itself. Still getting caught? Are you good? Sweet. Now, I don't know who allows that shit. Who would allow that, but how's it going, man?
Wow. Spit fire, huh?
What is it?
Spit fire.
A little bit. Close.
Where down we go?
What is it?
Where down we go?
Which one you mean?
That penny.
Penny?
Huh?
I don't know what you're talking about, man.
I know.
That may not be going over to us. I mean, it doesn't make sense to not go to us, but
It's like a 2-inch.
I wonder if that's some spare pipes uncovered there. So,
Well, I know that when you pulled, it was coming from that one. Right there.
yeah. How far you think you've gotten it so far?
This is 120 foot. You don't want to know.
You say almost that?
It's a 57-foot marker right there.
Definitely not there. Definitely ain't going from here to there.
What about you, boss? 2 foot?
I'm certain it ain't. I'll say.
Dr. Slade from the picture says, hey, take a sip of this.
Oh, they're off tonight,
Oh yeah.
man.
Go to my truck and go get my Glock just in case.
Yeah,
If I can just keep it on
I
us.
was about to grab a hammer. He was scared he was going to be behind me when I got out.
Nah, just I ain't saying that door, but just bring it to me. Got to get past that corrugated crap. Oh yeah, he's walking with it now. Going fairly simple. Whew, can't slow him down for nothing. Hey, bring the head of the cable back to the pull box. We'll get this through. Push and pull on the cables probably help get it through that last 90. Keep pushing and pulling.
Like I see it, it's like...
Yeah, dude, I mean, it ain't moving unless you do it almost. I mean, it's kind of going barely.
There it goes, I just got a few more inches.
Yeah, that's as he pushed, yeah.
There it goes.
Yeah, he must have it out.
Got a hand on it, yeah. I was
Yeah.
pretty damn easy.
Cool, cool. Oh, well, this one's not gonna be as fun as before. All right, we're getting the last of the footage. Thankfully, did not try to use that other row of cable because it's a little over 500 feet when rolling it off and walking it off. It's around 440. So there's 60 feet of ups and downs in these boxes, which makes sense with this corrugated pipe. That's probably good on the green cable. I'll just take the 5 conductor. You at 1950?
1944 in my hand.
I think that's even a little bit extra, I think. Good. Both for now. I guess the 5 conductor. Everything I want to show y'all. So by default on this cabinet here, a 16 phase, for the most part, TS2 cabinet, you'll see 13 through 16 is typically used for overlaps. What they have wired up to it right now is pedestrian heads. I'm gonna show you in the controller real quick. So if you go into unit data and you go into overlap data, you'll see they have no overlaps used right now. We are going to use overlap C for that flashing yellow arrow, but here at this intersection right now, and it has stuff landed down there where the output should be for an overlap, but they have it changed. If I go here, you can go into unit data, output mapping, and go over inside of the controller. You'll see here that they have 12 and 13. One's for PED 3, one's for PED 7. And that's gonna be for your pedestrian heads right there. And that's, this controller is gonna output to it now through different channels and not use the overlaps. For 15, we have overlap C. For 16, we have overlap D still. We only have to use overlap C, so we should still be good, and that should work properly. Sometimes that gets a little iffy when you're doing like ring structure and changing the whole cycle of the intersection and your compatibilities. If you're not a experienced tech or an engineer, more or less an engineer, you do not need to touch that stuff in the controller. You need to pretty much, you can usually typically do it by changing some stuff around and hardwiring things in the cabinet. Yes, it's easy to do in the controller, easier per se. But future things, it's just where you have to be 100% on what you're doing, because if not, you can't allow conflicts out in the field if you set it up improperly. So just be reasonable and understand what you're doing. So we have the signal heads are dark down there. He is dropping that doghouse one, and then we are going to replace that with the FYA. So if you enjoy all of that, make sure to stay tuned. In tomorrow's video, I will show y'all the end result. Come back out here during the day and we'll check out that flashing yellow arrow, go over some comments of this video, check all that out. I really like that. I think y'all may like that as well. Me speaking of the comments of the video to begin with, explain what we did tonight, and then show you what we're gonna do tomorrow night. So that's going to be the plan. So if you wanna see all of this in action, see this flashing yellow arrow come to life, see all the transformation here, which we're not gonna work too much on that, then make sure to subscribe and make sure to stay tuned. And as always, thanks for watching.